So the first paragraph can be said as a description about his appearance, you can say. So this is what you can say if a question is asked to you. Like, of course, and you will not be asked questions on the basis, all short note based questions, but yes, you'll have to learn these questions in short. Agar chote if you'll be learning them, if those short kind of questions, then it will become easy for you to learn things in part as you used to learn when you were there in class 10th. Now here we'll start off with the second passage where it says, scrambling up the jagged rocks on his hard feet, for except on Sundays he never wore shoes. Now what he used to usually do is he used to scramble down the jagged rocks, that means the hard rocks over there, on his hard feet. Why hard feet? Because he usually was in a habit of not wearing shoes every day, but he used to wear shoes only on Sunday. Because of his poverty, he was actually a very poor boy, and moreover he used to go to the churches on Sunday, so therefore he used to just wear shoes on that day only and no other day. He would throw himself into the deep water with a cry of delight. Now whenever he used to go for swimming and all, he would just get into the water, deep water, with a cry of delight. That means with a loud I used to shout very loudly, and that too in happiness. Now we'll get to know over here about his family also, that his family, or if you talk about his family also, everybody was actually a fisher. They were all into the business of fishing only. So it's written here, his father was also a fisherman who owned his own little vineyard, and Salvatore acted as a nursemaid to his two younger brothers. Now his father actually had a vineyard also, and moreover, if you talk about Salvatore, he acted as a nursemaid. Here refers to a caretaker to his younger brothers, means actually he used to just take care of his younger brothers well. He shouted to them to come inshore when they ventured out too far. Now, if at times those children or those two brothers used to go very far away, then far away from the shore, then he used to shout out to them and call them back, and made them dress when it was time to climb the hot vine-clad hill for the frugal midday meal. And then he was so very watchful. Now this shows what, that he was very watchful, and he was very watchful, and moreover he was very caring about those children. And moreover it's written here, he always made sure that they did not miss their frugal midday meal. Okay, whatever meal they used to get, so he used to always make sure that they used to climb the hot vine clad hill for the midday meal that they used to get. Okay, so in this passage we will get to know from this portion that this actually tells you about the point that Salvatore was actually a very caring and a loving person. Now here it is written here, but boys in those southern parts grow apace, and in a little while he was madly in love with a pretty girl who lived on the Grande Marina. Now boys in the southern parts, they grow apace. Grow apace here refers to that they used to grow up very early. They grew very early, and in a little while he was madly in love with a pretty girl who lived on the Grande Marina. Now Grande Marina was actually a place, so in that place, same place only, Salvatore actually was in love with a girl who was actually living in a place called Grande Marina. And moreover it's written here that she had eyes. Now these lines specifically tell about the appearance of the girl itself, or you can say the beauty of the girl, that she had eyes like forest pools and held herself like a daughter of Caesar's. You remember Julius Caesar. So here that is the story that they are talking about, this Caesar only. So here it has been told about the beauty of the girl, that she was so very beautiful to look at, that she had eyes like forest pools and held herself she looked as if she was the daughter of Caesar's. They were affianced. That means they both were actually affianced. Affianced means they were actually engaged. But they could not marry till Salvatore has done his military service, and when he left the island, which he had never left in his life before, to become a sailor in the navy of King Victor Emmanuel. Now they can only marry only on the condition that unless and until Salvatore does not complete his duty, and that was that he'll have to leave the island and then he will have to work over there in the army, becoming a sailor in the navy of King Victor Emmanuel. Now, what you can say is that first thing that we have been told over here is that Salvatore grows up with great rapidity, falls madly in love with a girl from Grande Marina, and he desires to tie the knot with her. That means he actually wanted to get married to her. However, the duty towards his country calls him to join the navy of King Victor Emmanuel. Now, that was actually a duty towards his country that he was actually compelled, you can say, yes, of course, compelled and forced to join the navy of King Victor Emmanuel, and he has to leave his hometown before they get married. Now, of course, for this reason only, he had to leave his own hometown, which he never actually wanted to before he gets married. So that is what you can say, that due to this only Salvatore had to depart from his island. And if you talk about that island, that he hasn't ever left that island before in his life, and moreover he was absolutely like estranged from his own home and the woman he was in love madly, and moreover he was going to serve as a sailor in the army of King Victor Emmanuel. So they were that was actually a kind of a life changing event which took place in the life of Salvatore. And moreover, if you talk about his own thoughts, he was absolutely not wanting to leave his place and leave the girl. So that's why it's written over here also that he wept like a child. Now this is what tells why he wept like a child. It's written now, he wept like a child. So why he wept like a child is just because it was not easy for him to leave his place, his parents and the girl, and then go to a strange place, and moreover to be acting as a sailor in the army of King Victor Emmanuel. It was hard for one who had never been less free than the birds to be at the beck and call of others. Now here it has been said over here that he was only free to a limited space, and that limited space was so very limited that it was just like the birds, or it was just like as if he was acting as a bird, that whenever the bird was called, he used to get back. So similarly it has been said over here, like you talk about yourself only, there are children when they go out to play, they are always in the eyes of their parents. That means the parents always keep an eye on them, and whenever they want their children back to them, they always call them or just they give out a call to them, and then those children will turn back to them. So that was only the space that he has been given and he has actually lived in. Otherwise he has never been out of his house at all. So that's why it's written over here, it was hard for one who has never been less free than the birds to be at the beck and call of others. It was harder still to live in a battleship, and now he was going to live where? In a battleship. So therefore it was now going to be more harder for him, because now he was going to live in a battleship and acting as a sailor over there, where there will be all strangers instead of in a little white cottage among the vines. That means instead of that little white cottage in which he used to live in, now he will be living where? Living in a battleship, which he never wanted to, and moreover he will be living with people who are all strangers to him. And when he was ashore, to walk in noisy, friendless cities and streets so crowded that he was frightened too. And when he was ashore, and then during his job, or during when he was there as a sailor, whenever he was ashore, he used to walk in whenever he used to walk in the cities present nearby the shore, they were so very noisy, they were so very friendless cities. Friendless cities means because nobody knew him, and of course if anybody does not know anyone, they are not going to talk to anyone, or they won't talk to anybody. So the same thing was happening over here. That's why it's being said here that they were friendless cities with streets so crowded that he was frightened to cross them. Now the cities were so very crowded all the time that he was absolutely all the time frightened to cross those cities also. That means he never ever wanted to cross those cities. Okay, then it's written here that when he had been used to silent paths and the mountains and the sea, where he was actually, if you talk about here, it's actually a kind of a comparison done to the cities and to the place now where he was actually allotted a job. That if you compare that place where he was usually living, that was absolutely a silent place, where there were silent paths, there were no busy roads over there, and the mountains and the sea, that there were no streets. Like here earlier we know that there was a description that the streets were so very crowded and noisy, but here it has been told over here that there were all silent paths and mountains and the sea. I suppose it had never struck him that Ischia is actually a place which he looked at every evening. It was like a fairy island in the sunset, to see what the weather would be like next day, or Vesuvius pearly in the dawn. Now these are what? These are actually Ischia, and they both are actually the mountains. Okay. So it's written here, and through this period of intense homesickness, he realized that the islands of Ischia, basically they were actually places or islands only, that is the islands of Ischia and Vesuvius, where he had grown up, had become an intimate part of him. That means you can say that he was so very very attached to those things and those places, like the Ischia. Whenever he looked at the Ischia place, whenever he looked at it, it looked as if it was actually whenever you looked at Ischia during the morning time, it looked just like a fairy in the morning. And moreover, if you looked at Vesuvius, it was actually pearly in dawn. Pearly means it just looked like a pearl during the dawn time. Now he had anything to do with him at all. Now he was just wondering that what was the connection between these two places and him. Now this connection he has understood now when he has left the place and had joined the army of King Victor Emmanuel. But when he ceased to have them before his eyes, he realized in some dim fashion that they were as much part of him as his hands and feet. Now, when he actually has stopped, when he was in no more connection with them, who are them over here? Them here is Ischia and Vesuvius. So when he was finding himself that he is now in no more connection with them, and now he is realizing that what a kind of a connection was built up between himself and those mountains, or you can say those places, and he realized it in some dim fashion. That means in a very clear manner, in a very dim fashion means he realized it as a kind of a thing, that he was absolutely in love with those places, and they were so very into him that they were just looking to him as they were parts of him, as his hands and his feet. He was dreadfully homesick. Now, if you talk about him, he was absolutely homesick. Homesick means what? A person who is absolutely all the time wanting to get back to his home. So he was so very dreadfully homesick that it was hardest of all to be parted. And moreover, the hardest thing of all was that he had to part from the girl he loved with all his passionate young heart. The hardest thing for him was this only, that he had to leave that girl. He wrote to her in his childlike handwriting long ill-spelt letters. That means he used to write letters to her, and that too all ill-spelt letters, in which he told her how constantly he thought of her and how much he longed to be back. And in those letters he has told also that he was so very longing to be back with that girl all the time. Moreover, in the lines he has also told that how much he was all the time thinking about that girl, and he always wanted to be back to the girl. Okay. Then it is written here, he was sent here and there to Spezia, to Venice, to Bari, finally to China. Now these are the different places where he was actually sent to. So that's why it's written over here that he was sent to many different places. Many different places, like Spezia is actually a place, Venice, Bari, and then to China. And then here he fell ill of some mysterious ailment. Now what had happened is when he reached to China, he fell sick, and there was a kind of a mysterious kind of a pain. Ailment means pain, that kept him in hospital for a month, and due to which he was actually there in hospital for months. he bore it with the mute and uncomprehending patience of a dog. That means, though he was actually having a lot of pain in his body, but then too he was bearing that pain in a manner as if like with the patience of a dog. That means he was just like behaving in a very patient manner, bearing all the pain very patiently, not complaining anything, and not telling anybody that what kind of pain he was feeling. Okay, and that's why that you can say he was struck by a dreadful kind of illness, and due to which he was in a way he was quarantined to a hospital, and that too for many days. And here if you talk about here these lines, that is, he bore it with a mute and uncomprehending patience of a dog. That means what here is that he endured or bore that pain with tremendous patience. Patience of a dog means, that means tremendous patience. When he learned that it was a form of rheumatism that made him unfit for further service, his heart exulted. Now, as soon as he learned this fact that he was actually suffering from a kind of a rheumatism. Rheumatism is actually a problem that comes in your bones and all. So rheumatism is actually, was the kind of disease with which he was suffering with. So when he learned that he was actually suffering with that kind of rheumatism that made him unfit for further service, his heart exulted. Now he was absolutely very, very happy to hear that. Why? For he could go home. Because why? Because he was knowing that now he has got the chance which he was really waiting throughout his life, and that was what? To get back home. And he did not bother, in fact, that he scarcely he scarcely listened, and did not bother. In fact, he scarcely listened when the doctors told him that he would never again be quite well. Now, he did not bother about the fact that he was listening this also, because he has been told by the doctors also that he will never be quite well again. That means the doctors have told him that you are suffering from such a kind of a rheumatism that you will never ever be fine. But he just ignored it. He just didn't listen to what has been told to him, because when the doctors informed him that he had been diagnosed with a form of rheumatism that would render him incapacitated for the rest of his life. Incapacitated means he will not be capable of for the rest of his life. And instead of being disheartened by the news of possible lifelong disability, Salvatore's heart was exulting. He was absolutely very happy, because his illness meant that he was unfit to serve in the army. And that meant what? And that meant that he could finally be home. He could go back home to be united with his family and the love of his life. So that's why it's written here. What did he care when he was going back to the little island he loved so well, and the girl who was waiting for him? Is this clear?